How's everything?
I'm doing well, Vlad. How are you doing?
Very, very well. Very, I mean, same like almost same like last month and 2 months before and so on.
Well, it's it's basically going in line with the title of your movie, Still Here, right? We're
Still
all
here,
still
exactly. We are all still here. Yeah, exactly.
so tell me, what sparked you to write the story for Still Here?
So it was a story from Romania. I'm originally from Romania, and it was a story back like I don't know, 2010 about a missing girl, and it stayed on my mind. And I start to write at the point the outline of a fictional story. And then when I moved to United States, I thought, okay, how I will be able to adapt that story to the actual climate. So I mean, the movie went through multiple changes. First, I wanted to shoot it in Bucharest. Then I thought about Paris or London, then Sao Paulo, and then even here in the United States, I was between Los Angeles and New York. So in the end, we choose New York, and everything was adapted for that.
What about what about New York that actually beat all those other cities or all around the world?
So living in Los Angeles, of course, in LA, you are pretty alone. We all live in our bubble, in our car, moving from one place to another. So that's kind of a lot of people that experienced LA, they understand that. Now, whenever we thought about New York, I was like, there's such a big city. It's so dense. People are one next to each other, and whenever you have an issue like losing your girl, you are so alone. So I think in the end, it was not only about a city, and that city actually became a character of its own for the film, and it helped us as well, production value, incredibly.
Tell me how you developed the script, because when I actually watched it, it felt so real. How did you research all of that to come up with the narrative story?
So as I told you, everything came from the inspiration was from one story, but then starting to read about multiple articles, like multiple families that lost their kids, and not just from Europe, from all around the world. It brought me to the idea of what if we put the character from the family to be the father. I wanted to show a man that all the time we look at the father, that is the one that it's strong, and he should find all the time the solutions in situations like this. So I want to show a human that it's extremely how you call it, um, easy to put down in a way. So we had we went through the father from actually at a point in one moment of the story committing suicide, and I said no, maybe we go too far. It was something that in the end we changed in the editing. So that everything came from that. As I told you, I wrote, or I don't know if I told you, but I wrote on the script for like 8 years, 9 years. I started with a long, story outline. Then Peter Guter, my co-writer, jumped on board, and the movie came to the shape that we started. We went into production. Then, while filming the movie, a lot of things changed because I allow actors to improvise, and to bring their take on the table. And then in the editing as well, the movie suffered multiple changes. So it was a process from the first word on the paper to the final cut. So yeah, it was a very interesting process.
Could you talk about making the victims, the characters, as African American or Black, in the film? Because I thought that was a fresh perspective, especially since when people do disappear, especially that it's timing what's happening here in the United States, a lot of police do actually ignore their cries.
Yeah, for me, again, as I told you, same like the script, as it evolves, I learned a lot through this, because it was a huge research. I'm coming from Romania. We have issues of, you know, discrimination, but not necessarily for regarding race, but more classism. And then when I came here, I thought about, like, why, you know, like, why would I make just a full white movie, with no regards to, you know, the latest talk in Hollywood is about, you know, diversity. I felt it natural that, you know, I should go into having them as a black family, and you know, to show not only the part of the police, but even society. Going into the movie, you see that even the neighbors, they don't really care too much. The police officers, I did not want to make it white or black, and this has to do with a story that I heard, you know, which I said, like, maybe I should show, you know, both sides. And it's basically about a broken system in the end.
Could you talk about making this film your directorial debut? Because you have quite a history of doing short films, and talk about the challenges of making this film as your first film.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah, so short movies, commercials, music videos. Now this is of course is totally different. And again, as we said, just from writing the script from 15 pages to 120 pages, the process, it was very hard, but I honestly, I would not change, you know, 1 second. And you have um, hard moments from a lots of points, from financing, from finding the, you know, the right people to work with. Because in the end, it's a huge puzzle. And by the time you get to the on sets, everything has to be, you know, down the dot, so you don't lose time, so you will be able to catch everything that you need. So it was very interesting, but I was very lucky to, you know, to be surrounded by people that were incredibly talented and supportive. You know, like, talking about the cast, we had Adrian Stern, that brought us a great cast. Working with the DP, with Anna Paula, it was very easy and very natural, as I worked with her before on other projects. You know, to prepare the movie was very easy. And then working with the cast, I don't know, with the editors, Peter, Steve, and Georg. I don't know. We just had lots of people around us, the producers, the rest of the producers. Right now, Blue Fox, that is distributing the movie. So we're very lucky to have around us people that, you know, they guide my steps, and you know, with some obstacles, but in the end, here we are.
Excellent. Well, since you brought up the cast, talk about Johnny Whitmore and Maurice McRae playing, you know, Christian Baker and Michael Watson. Why they were perfect for the roles? Because those were the two main characters everyone was focused on in the film.
Yeah. So I will start with Johnny. Johnny, same, like, we had a pretty short list for Christian Baker, brought by Adrian Stern, and you know, we had to choose at a point based on availability. But Johnny all the time, you know, was there up front, and was like, I believe he will be able to portray Christian Baker the best. So in the end, they worked out the dates, they worked out everything else behind the creative part that had to be done, and he came on board. It was a pleasure working with him. We had a very interesting way of preparing for the movie, because we did not have like a regular table reading, and, you know, like, I want, same with him and with Maurice, that plays the father, I wanted for them to understand very well the characters that I would like to, you know, to create. So we spent some time together, and you know, that was very interesting. And then Maurice, I mean, Maurice was something very, because he came in the audition room, and, like, you know, everybody in the audition room they have their own ritual. They say hi to the director or to the casting director. You know, they want to fill the room to see, you know, who will be able, you know, to put a good word for them in the end when the decision is made. Now, so Maurice came, very polite, said hi, sat on the chair. He was in the character the whole day, like in the casting and the callbacks. I met the real Maurice McRae after the rep. I have not known Maurice, like he was in character. He was like at the point where even thinking like, we, the production, are we treating him right? Because he was, you know, like on the set walking, was just paying attention to the directions, you know, not very talkative, very much, you know, preparing himself. So it was very interesting to work with him. And then we wrapped, and it was like a totally different person came out. I was like, oh wow. So yeah, Maurice, yeah, it was a pleasure to work with him, and as it was with all the cast, you know, from Afton to Jared and Justin and Jeremy and Danny. I mean, Jeremy Holm and Danny Johnson, you know, like so supportive during the whole process. So very nice. So I was lucky to have a great cast.
Excellent. Well, let me ask you one more thing before you wrap.
Tell me.
To wrap up things. I know it's an obligatory question. It's a funny question to ask, but how are you staying creative towards working towards your next projects in times like this?
I mean, definitely it's different because you are locked in the house, and creativity, you know, like as I told you, I live in New York, so New York, it's a place that you just go out, spin 360, and you have like 10 stories to put on the paper. But before this, I pretty much had a bunch of ideas that I wanted to make next. So it was just a decision of like, okay, on which one do I want to work? And yeah, I mean, you keep yourself busy by writing, reading, watching other movies. When possibility was, you know, like we went out in the nature to clear a little bit the mind. So I believe there are options. Again, I'm talking from my perspective. I know that I'm a lucky person. There are many that, you know, lost their homes, and they suffer financial, you know, like loss. So it's not an easy time, but I'm pretty sure that hopefully soon we are getting out of this, and you know, we'll be able to get back on track. Not necessarily back to normal. I don't know if that normal was really working out for us, but yeah, that was my experience.
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you, Vlad. I'm looking forward to your second feature film in the future. You've done an excellent job still here.
Absolutely. We hope to bring it to you very soon.
Excellent. Bye now.
Have a very beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.